Hi and welcome to my channel. So today I may be looking a little different than I do in the beginning of most of my videos. I decided to brush out my curly hair, which if you know, creates a lot of poof. And I also am kind of trying to dress in Mia Thermopolis vibes because today I'm going to do a Princess Diaries inspired transformation look. So if you're not familiar, the Princess Diaries is a movie that came out in the early 2000s starring Julia Andrews and Anne Hathaway, two queens. And basically the premise is that Anne Hathaway's character, Mia, is a princess and doesn't know it, but now she's needed because of the royal lineage and she needs to take her place on the throne. So one of the most iconic scenes from that movie is the actual transformation of an ugly duckling type of, stereotype, which we do not approve of, but we love to see a good transformation. So if you haven't seen that scene, I would suggest looking it up before we go on with the rest of the video. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to straighten my hair, take off my glasses. I will not be breaking them because I do indeed need them. And then we're going to do a Mia Thermopolis inspired makeup look to go with it. So if that sounds good to you, keep on watching. Alright, so I'm back. I straightened my hair, obviously took off my glasses. Now, can we just take a second? I never straighten my hair. I do the curly girl method, so I try to stay away from heat. But look how much longer my hair is. Maybe you can't tell, but for me, I can. Oh my gosh, it's insane. But to get started on the makeup, let's go ahead and get started with the base. So I'm thinking that for primer, I'm just gonna use this primerizer. It's nice and hydrating, so I'm gonna go ahead and get started by applying this. Alright, so now that I've got that primer on, I'm going to go ahead and do a full coverage foundation, which again, not very normal for me, but I have a bunch of freckles and some acne right now, so I'm hoping to cover all of that up because Miss Mia does not have freckles. So I'm going to use the Soap and Glory Kick-Ass foundation. I don't think they make this anymore, which is such a shame because this is a really good foundation. I have the shade 01, and it's one of the best shade matches that I have, and I love the actual finish of it. I've heard that it was basically the same as the one that was sold at Walgreens. I can't remember the brand, but that really cheap foundation. Now neither of them seem to exist, which super sucks, but I still have mine, so I'm gonna use that, and let's get started applying that. Foundation is on, and I went ahead and clipped back my hair because it was driving me a little bit crazy. But now let's go ahead and do concealer. So since the foundation is pretty full coverage, obviously not completely full coverage, but one of the most full coverage things that I have. I wanted to go a little bit lighter with the concealer just because I don't want to have cake face or anything like that. So I'm going to use my e.l.f. brightening concealer. This is in the shade 10C, Fair 10C. So I'm going to go ahead and just put a little bit of this underneath my eyes to brighten them up a little bit. Now that concealer's done, I'm going to go ahead and just take my trial size of the Charlotte Tilbury powder, and I'm going to powder underneath my eyes. I'm going to powder where my blemishes are to try to set that makeup a little bit more, and then I'm going to powder my forehead so that way I don't get wrinkle lines. I'm back and I just finished powdering my face, so now I've got all of my base products on. Now it's time to get into some color cosmetics for the face. So I was really trying to figure out, obviously this movie came out a long time ago, so makeup styles were pretty different, and it didn't seem like Mia really had a whole lot of bronzer on, but I'm gonna go ahead and just lightly dust it around the edges of my face, because one thing is for sure, Anne Hathaway has those chiseled cheekbones, so I'm going to try to emulate that a little bit. And I'm going to use the Pure Bronzing Act. This is the lightest shade, and I really like this bronzer. So it's very, very light, which is good because we're not looking for a whole lot. I'm also going to go ahead now and bronze the sides of my nose just a little bit. For blush, I'm going to be using a Princess blush from the ColourPop Disney Princess collab. This is in the shade Belle, and it's just a really nice, light pink, pretty neutral, maybe leaning a little cool tone pink. So I'm just gonna go ahead and lightly dust this on my cheeks. And if you're wondering why I'm using powder products, because I'm such a lover of cream products, it's because I'm trying to stay true to the actual movie. In the movie, they show a shot of some of the products it looks like they're using. Looks like a lot of NARS. I don't have a lot of NARS, so I'm trying to stick with powder products, but I'm using what I have. So I'm going to go ahead and put this blush on now. Last up is highlight. Now, I know that in the early 2000s, they probably weren't using highlight, but I am going to because I absolutely love it, but I'm choosing a little bit of a more subtle one. So I've got the mini of the Becca highlighter, and this is in the shade Moonstone. So I'm just gonna dust a tiny little bit of this on the cheekbones, a little bit on the brow bone, and then on the tip of my nose. So now that I've got all of those products on, I'm going to go ahead and set my face with the Charlotte Tilbury setting spray. So I'm just going to give a few sprays of that, and then off camera I'm going to prime my eyes, do my eyebrows, and I'll be right back. I've got my eyebrows on. I think they're a little bit thicker than what Mia's end up looking like, but I do my brows how I do my brows. I also went and primed my eyes, and now it's time for eyeshadow. So I put together just this super simple cool tone palette. It looks like she's got a pretty simple kind of smoky eye going on, very 2000s. So what I'm thinking is, let's start in the crease with just this light kind of peachy pink, not peachy, but pinky brown color. And I'm gonna take this on a fluffy brush and just kind of dab in and start putting that in the crease. was looking at her look, it looked like it was pretty concentrated on the outer corner and then pretty light on the inner corner, like inner lid, inner corner. So next, let's take this brown first and just kind of start deepening up that crease a little bit more and building up a color on the outside. Now I'm gonna go even more cool tone, and I'm gonna take this like gray, like taupe color, and put that just on the very outer crease, and then put a light color kind of all over the lid. Here is that kind of gray color laid out, and I think it's definitely giving us those cool tone vibes that Mia had. So now I'm just gonna take this like cream color. It looks white, but I promise it's cream. And I'm just gonna kind of lay that down all over my lid. Take just a little bit more of that gray to build up that color just a little bit more on the outer eye. Okay, so I think this is giving very classic cool toned eye. So Mia definitely has some eyeliner on her lower lash lines. I couldn't tell if it's fully black. It looks a little bit more diffused than like a typical black does. But either way, I'm going to use this ColourPop cream gel liner in, Best O? I think that's what it's called. It's kind of like a maroony, like deep brown color. You can see that. I think it'll be a little less harsh than a black liner would be, but hopefully will give the same effect. Now, she didn't line like completely under her eye, like she didn't go, you know, like full, like My Chemical Romance, Panic at the Disco vibes, but she just kind of went like halfway, and then it seemed like it was pretty diffused, so I'm gonna try to do that. I don't normally do a whole lot of lower lash line eyeliner, so we'll try this out. pretty good. I'm gonna have to clean it up a little bit, but I'm gonna go ahead and do the other eye off camera, clean it up a little bit, and I'll be back. I'm back, and the last few things that I did to clean up the look were that I added that lighter like matte color to my brow bone because I felt like her eyes looked like they had a little bit more definition, so I was hoping that would help with that. I also just went and like kind of like smoothed things out by running a clean brush all through my eye to just kind of help with blending. And then lastly, I took the liner and I tight lined my top lashes. I'm not sure if you can tell. And then of course I put on mascara. I'm still working through this Better Than Sex mini, so that's what I put. Now I'm gonna take out my hair clips because we're not gonna need them for, you know, putting on lipstick, and that's all that we've got left. So for lipstick, it looked like she had like a shiny, like neutral pinkish red color. So my closest dupe to that is this Revlon lipstick in, it's the Revlon Shine in Glossed Up Rose. And I think that this will be pretty much the same. Now mine is well loved, and so like the top isn't as sharp as it once was. So we're gonna see how this goes, but I'm gonna try to put this on now. Okay, so I feel like mine is definitely a little bit more pinks than Mia is, or Mia's lipstick is, but you know, all in all, I think it's a pretty good transformation. Now, here's the thing. As a child, like, I was definitely version 1 of Mia. Like, you know, I have curly hair. I didn't know how to take care of it for a long time, so I had like real poofy hair. I wore glasses, and it always like was awesome to watch Mia transform on screen to like a more desirable, you know, look. But at the same time, like, it definitely made me feel like the way that I looked wasn't good enough, and so I definitely don't want to perpetuate that by recreating Mia's transformation today. My goal was just to do something that I always wanted to do as a kid and like, you know, put it into practice. But I'm by no means like trying to say like this version of me is more beautiful than the version you saw in my introduction. I love both equally, and I think that that's something that Mia comes to learn about herself too. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think of this transformation down in the comments. I've got a few more of my like, you know, recreating looks and looks inspired by characters that I love from TV and film, so subscribe if you have not. Also, I have a reel of this transformation over on my Instagram, so be sure to follow me. And other than that, I'll see you in my next video. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy. Bye.